What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great Tuesday night. But it being Tuesday, you know what time it is. Behind enemy lines with the Eagles' Week 15 opponent, the Seattle Seahawks. Now, trust me, I know we just got our asses whooped 2 weeks in a row. Lot to clean up here. Eagles got to work on a lot of things, and we hope that they're doing that this week. I know they're doing that. So still very confident in this team. I've seen it all. Trust me, cutting and firing everywhere. I see the chaos. I appreciate you sickos and diehards riding with me, baby. We're still going right to the top, and we'll see them all when they get there. Now, you know how I feel. And we talked about this next 4 games to end the season, how I feel. The Seahawks, very tough matchup that I think people sleep on the Seahawks. Very talented roster, had some issues, but we'll talk about that here in a second. But you look at the next stretch here, this is the time for the Eagles to step it up. Obviously, you don't like to see them playing like they did. You want them to play like the 10 games that they won. So that being the best and the most wins in the NFL, that's a good thing. So still very excited about this team. Hope that they clean these things up, getting healthy, getting everybody now gelling together, the starters we need. So excited about it. But love to hear your thoughts down below. We're going to get into this, talk about everything you need to know about the Seahawks before this matchup, and I'll keep you up to date all throughout the week. Wednesday, injury report. Thursday, updated injury report with the top 13 matchups. Friday, game status report, who's in, who's out, questionable, all that great stuff. Then you'll get the live Fan Friday where we talk everything on your mind about the Seahawks, Eagles, whatever it is. Saturday, practice squad elevations, updated depth chart, all that great stuff. But woo, let's get into it, baby. I'm ready to move right on. Week 15, here we come. So let's look at what the Seahawks have done here to this roster since last season. You can see in the draft, had a pretty damn good draft. Some very talented guys here, Witherspoon, Smith, and Jigba, Charbonnet, Young, a lot of really talented kids that could definitely be a big part of their future. You see, they lost some players. Obviously, Rashad Penny, maybe a key loss to them. Not much of a key addition for us. But Goodwin, Jefferson, Woods, Ford, Neal. You see some players they lost there. The additions, they added a bunch on the defensive side of the ball. Got themselves a center. But, man, this team, much better than last year. And I thought they were pretty talented last year. So, again, do not sleep on this Seattle team, regardless of, what their record or stats show. But speaking of those, let's take a gander for all of you that like to see this kind of stuff. Let's look at the NFC West standings here. You see the Niners at the top 10-3. The Rams now jump in front of the Seahawks 6-7, tied up there, same record. And then you see the Cardinals 3-10 at the bottom. Now let's look at the NFC standings. You can see the Eagles number 5 now dropping because the Cowboys take over the division there. But if the Eagles win out, they still will win the NFC East, so no need to fret there. But you see the Seahawks in number 9 trying to move their way up. And look, they've got the record to be there. They just got to, obviously break these tiebreakers here with these other teams. So we'll see how it plays out, but going to be fun to see the end of the season, how things pan out here in the NFC. But 6-7, not the greatest. So let's take a look at what's been going on with the Seahawks here and take it all with a grain of salt, these numbers. But tied for 17th in points, 20th in total yardage, 15th in passing, 28th in rushing. Kenneth Walker a little banged up at times, but you would think with Charbonnet and Walker there, that would be completely different. 92 yards per game. Tied for 15th in sacks, given up there. And you see turnovers, tied for 12th, not giving it up too much. Throwing some interceptions, though. Almost an interception per game. And look, not fumbling the ball, that's great, but we'll see if it's Geno Smith, if he's ready to go. I think he should be, or if it's going to be Drew Lock. But on the defensive side of the ball, you see 27th in points, 28th in yards, 25th in passing, 23rd in rushing. There's no reason, we talked about this last night, no reason that this Eagles offense can't do some work on this defense. It's the defense that needs to shut down the offense. We talk about, look, their stats might not look it, but they are very talented, and you'll see that here shortly. So going to be fun, but just for comparison purposes, here's what the Eagles look like so far in the season. You can see 6th in points, 8th in yardage, and look, 13th in passing, 8th in rushing. Now, the issues come, tied for 19th in sacks given up. You're throwing the ball away. Look at this. tied for 18th in turnovers. It's just obviously we've got some issues that need to be worked out. The defensive side of the ball, 28th in points, 22nd in yardage, 6th against the run, but 28th against the pass. So need more sacks, turnovers to get things going. But we also need, everybody to get on the same page here. We talk about, having Roby back, having Byard here. It's time for these guys to start gelling. They've been playing a couple games together. And look, a lot of times teams take, an entire half of a year to really get things going. A lot of these guys haven't been playing together more than a couple of weeks, whether that be via trade, an injury, what's happening, whatever it may be. A lot of these things, have definitely affected the Eagles defense, but I thought Desai has done a good job against some of the top offenses here in the NFL with what he's had and with the mistakes the players are making. And it's always so funny. Well, if the players were playing and the coaches would coach, and it's always people want to blame somebody, but it's like, hey, what if they're all just effing up and need to get on the same page here? So let's take a look now at what this Seahawks team looks like. And we talk about how talented they are. They got a great head coach here, Pete Carroll, Shane Waldron, and offensive coordinator Clint Hurt at DC, and then Larry Izzo, special teams coordinator. So 6-7, trying to get things going, sneak into the playoffs here. Let's take a look at this team that they have here. And Geno Smith, Drew Lock, the quarterbacks. Talked about Geno being out last week, so Drew Lock maybe, would step in again, but I'm not afraid of either. Obviously, Geno Smith, the better quarterback. But you see on the practice squad, Brett Ripien, anybody on the practice squad or on the IR that is at position, you will see at the bottom there. So see, they have a practice squad guy. Now to the running backs, you've got Kenneth Walker here. And look, for me, I talked about this. This team is super talented when it comes to, the guys they have. The stats might not show it here, but they really are a talented team. So we talk about Geno or Locke. It doesn't matter to me. If they get if they start running the ball well, that's a problem. And yeah, we're one of the better teams, but we have had issues. And Kenneth Walker's averaging 4 yards per carry, 4.3 for Charbonnet, 6 touchdowns for Kenny Walker. And look, these guys are really talented, man. I don't care what the stats say. We got to shut down the run, make them one-dimensional. Going to be interesting to see how we do that. Now, at wide receiver, you can see Metcalf, Lockett. You've got Smith and Jigba, who one of the better rookies. I think this kid, talented, as hell. So you've got 3 really good, wide receivers here. And then you've got some depth pieces. And then you see on the practice squad, you've got some guys there, but some really talented receivers. This secondary better step it up. And Noah Fant, he's decent, not doing too much over there, but a good tight end. You've got Disley, Parkinson, and hey, Brady Russell. We all remember him, right? So look, Metcalf having a great year, 16.9 yards per catch, 7 touchdowns. Lockett, 10.9 yards per catch, 4 touchdowns. And then you look at Noah Fant, their tight end. He has 339 yards, but 14.1 yards per catch. Doesn't have a touchdown, but they could get the ball in his hands. You got to watch out there. Linebacking core for the Eagles, getting a little better here, so we'd like to hear that. Now, offensive line here, we talk about, giving up a little bit of sacks there. I think that this Eagles D-line, this is the kind of game where you need to tee off here. I don't want to hear any kind of excuses. I want this team to go out here and whoop some ass. They're middle of the pack, giving up 2.5 sacks per game. Let's go out here and get some damn sacks for the love of God. You see Jason Peters there as well. So old JP hanging out with the old little birds now. Now to the defensive side of the ball, you can see, this is where they've added some pieces. Leonard Williams, Jerron Reed back, Mario Edwards Jr., got the young man Cameron Young, Miles Adams. Now you see guys on IR, and Pup got a practice squad player there. So, that is a fierce interior line, going to be one of the top matchups. I cannot wait to talk about that one. Then you talk about the edge rushers here. And look, they added Frank Clark, but this dude he's 5th on the pecking order right now. They got Mafi, Draymond Jones, Taylor, Hall, all playing more than him. So wild times over there. Looks like he has fallen off a little bit. But look, these guys, maybe not household names, but very talented. Draymond Jones did well with Denver there for a couple years. And I think Derek Taylor, a promising young man. So tackle's going to have to step it up. Much easier than some of these last opponents we've been facing, but still a talented group. And then at linebacker, they get Bobby Wagner back, Jordan Brooks there, Devin Bush, Belor, and Radigan. And you see on the practice squad and IR, they've got some guys, so don't miss that. But Bobby Wagner back with the Seahawks now. So I'm sure they're loving that. And the dude's still got some left in the tank. And Jordan Brooks, I think, is a very talented young linebacker. So the two of them together, obviously that's very helpful for Brooks to have, Bobby Wagner there. But Bobby Wagner leads the team, 132 total tackles. Brooks behind him with 102. So tackling machines, we're still going to try to get that run game going, but they've got some studs there. And they've got some studs, some young ones here in Devon Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen. They've got Trey Brown, Michael Jackson, Artie Burns. He is in there. So you've got Lance, I apologize, Boykin and Joseph on the practice squad. But Devon Witherspoon, he's the only person that's going to give Jalen Carter a run for the money for Defensive Rookie of the Year. But this kid, you guys remember pre-draft, this was my favorite corner in this draft. I just love his skill set. Can play inside, outside, maybe dabble a little bit with safety. This kid can do it all. I love him. Tough as nails. Tariq Woolen, another one, very talented. Had his issues at times this year, but he's still very good. And we're going to talk about the top matchups here on Thursday. I'm going to give you all the individual stats, all the things you need to know about these guys, how they match up. It's going to be a damn good one. And then at safety, now, I should have just threw all the damn defensive backs together because they've got Diggs, Adams, Love, Bryant here. Now, Adams, Love, they can play some nickel corner. Kobe Bryant can play some nickel corner. He was a corner, but they moved him to safety, but he kind of just a defensive back there. And, you've got guys that are versatile pieces here. So, whether they've got Love at nickel or Adams and Adams at safety, we'll find out what their game plan is here. But they've got, a very intriguing secondary here with a lot of talent. So, we're going to see if this Eagles offense can get it going. But you see the practice squad and IR there. And then, of course, the specialist. We don't leave anybody out. So, Myers, the kicker, Dixon, the punter, Stoll, the long snapper, Eskridge, kick returner, and Dallas there, punt returner. So you see all of those things by position. Now I will show you all of these things in a list form. So, obviously that's a lot of information thrown at you. So I'm going to give you the list of the practice squad, and then I'll show you the guys that are on reserve, and then I'll show you the Seahawks depth chart. So let's take a gander and love to hear your thoughts on this, how you're feeling about this game. You're still reeling from the last one, whatever's on your mind. Love to hear it. But let's take a look now to finish this up. You see, they have 7 guys on defense, 9 on the offensive side of the ball. And we'll see if they elevate anybody. I'll keep you up to date with all that stuff. If any of this stuff changes, anything like that, you will know. But those are all the players you saw at the bottom there. But now just showing you the full list. And up next, the reserves. Now, anybody in green is new to the team this year. They weren't with them last year. So they could be coming back, but they weren't with last year. So you see that they've got some guys on IR, Haynes, Morris, Nwosu, Njogu, Reed, Thomas, and then you've got Moan there at the bottom on the PUP list. So those were the guys you saw at the bottom. Now, you're not going to see them on the depth chart. So let's take a look at that depth chart, starting off with the offense. Remember, anybody in green new to the roster this season. So you see that they added Charbonnet, Smith, and Jigba there to the offense, got themselves a free agent in Brown, drafted Bradford there. So they got some good pieces. And you can see some other depth pieces, former Eagles, Jason Peters, Brady Russell in there. So some talented guys. And look, man, again, I don't care what the roster says, what the stats say. If you're playing Madden or something and you're looking at this is a pretty good team. I know the offensive line isn't the greatest in the world, but they've got a lot of talent here. So you got to watch out for teams like that, especially how much we've struggled against the pass. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, you can see, I mentioned how much they added to that defensive line. You could see, a 3-4 defense, a lot of odd fronts there. So the outside linebackers are their edge rushers, but Mafe and Jones on the outside. You see interior guys, Williams, Edwards, Reed, and you've got, some really talented kids here, and you added some good free agents. So this is another one people sleep on. And we talked about the linebackers, bringing Bobby Wagner back, bringing in Devin Bush. That's a good linebacker room there. Then the corners, drafting Devon Witherspoon, bringing in Julian Love from the Giants in free agency, I thought was a great move for them too. So this is a damn good team, regardless of what any stats or rankings or anything like that say. So yeah, man, going to be a good matchup, I do believe, but I think the Eagles can come out on top. They better get their stuff together here. But here are the specialists. Never leave anybody out there. Anything were to happen, Eskridge was banged up. So maybe they use Charbonnet. Maybe DJ Dallas takes over there. We shall see. But tomorrow I will be giving you all that information on the initial injury report for both the Eagles and the Seahawks. But for now, that's all I've got for you. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you got anything from this, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. My man, Drew, China, I know you're out there. I know you guys are watching this bad boy. Love to hear your thoughts, how you're feeling about this game. Are you starting to feel a little bit better? You getting excited? I know you're riding with me. Just need to know how you're feeling about this game because it's week 15. We move, baby. But I appreciate each and every one of you. If you need anything, you can always reach out, whether it's to talk about the birds, life, anything. Always try to be here because you guys are always here for me. So try to give everything I can to you guys. Love each and every one of you. Hope you're having a great week. I know I'm dealing with all the trolls. I feel you. But just stay strong like our Eagles will, and we'll be just fine. But until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all have yourselves a great night. You stay safe out there. And as always, go Birds!